All right, welcome to Brain Training for Parkinson's with PD Active. My name's Stephanie. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than we're diverting from our series from March, which was balance. I think the things that we do today will still help balance, but it's a little bit more, a little bit less direct. We'll see what happens. It's all about working the nervous system, and everyone's nervous system is different. So we'll try some things to sort of hack the nervous system for balance and see if it works for you. Today, you're going to need a foot release ball. You'll also need an eye tracking device. You can use a pen or a pencil. You can also use your finger, but I do like using an external prop for that. And then I suggest also grabbing a towel, just a hand towel, not a bath towel that's a little bit too big, something that you can roll up for yourself here like that. Okay. All right. So we are going to start with a little self-assessment, a check-in. So go ahead and stand yourself up on your feet, and you can do this either. So I encourage you to do this standing. So we're working on balance, but if you feel better sitting in a chair, you're more than welcome to do that as well. We're going to take a little journey from your feet, scanning your body all the way up to your head, making notes about our posture pre-class, pre-interventions. So to make sure that you're just standing sort of as you normally would. Take notice of your foot placement. Do you have a preference to the right foot or the left foot? Do you have preference to the forefoot or the heel? Maybe there's even a quadrant that you feel yourself biasing into. And if you're sort of a fidgety, antsy person like me, maybe you feel yourself swaying or moving around in certain places. If you have dyskinesia, maybe you'll feel that there as well. David, we're just doing a body scan, so you can do this seated or standing.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm running late.
That's all good. I'm going to just place you on mute. Notice your connection into your toes. Does your pinky toe actually touch the floor? Does your big toe touch the floor? And even looking down to see how your toes lay on the floor. Do your toes like to rise up with the knuckles lifted, or can you flatten out your toes so that the bottom of your toe here flattens to the floor? Just noticing. What about your ankles? Do you like to sickle out? Do your arches kind of draw in? Do your ankle bones draw in towards one another? What is your default there? And then giving your knees a little bit of a bounce, bending your knees and straightening your knees. You can do this by sort of marching in the chair if you're seated. And noticing sort of the pliability there or rigidity that happens in your body. Try to let yourself just let that vibration kind of go through the body. How well does it go through? And you can hear in my voice that that vibration goes all the way into my throat because it's affecting my voice. We'll go for a couple more seconds, just letting that vibration sort of go through the body. And then ease it out. From here, we're going to look, taking a scan of your own pelvis. You can self-touch to help you better understand where your body is in space. Remember, proprioception is a big component of balance. So feeling where your hips are. Do you feel a little dimple or crease in the front? Do you feel that the hips are forward of your toes? Does your butt like to be sort of kicked back? Is there an excess curve in your low back? And then go ahead and shift your hips over to one side and shift your hips over to the other side and try to let your pelvis go, you know, if you were in the middle, it's level, go into a little bit of a canter and then level and then canter. Okay, so if your hands are on your hips, you might feel that. Yeah. And I call it a sassy hip. You get kind of sassy. Now, right now we're doing this with the knees straight. And I want you to notice what you feel in your hips here. Is it easier to drop one hip more than the other? I don't know. If you have an eye for movement, you can see it's a little bit easier on one side for me than the other. And now we're going to do this with a knee, kind of a knee pop. So we're going to bend one knee and let the hip drop down, straighten, bend the other knee and let the hip drop down. So we're getting this side bending happening in the pelvis, which actually manifests also in our waistline. So how well can we lengthen through your waistline, which then lets your hips drop, which then lets your knee bend, which then bends in your ankle. So if you have any restriction in the knees or ankles or the hips, this might be challenging. So just again, taking notes. Does one side feel different than the other? Challenging, whatever. Okay. Beautiful. And then place your hands on your rib cage. And go ahead and breathe into your hands, trying to push your hands out with your ribs, with your inhale. And exhale, and you can use your hands to sort of guide the retraction of that. Okay, I'm just showing you outside of, so you inhale, the ribs come out, and exhale and pull in. Now, depending on your connection with your body, you being more interested or more able to connect with, I'm going to try to push my ribs into my hands in the inhale. And then I'm going to try to draw my ribs away from my hands on the exhale. The opposite might resonate better with you if you think about your hands pulling your ribs open. If you had like a balloon and you were trying to pull it apart as opposed to blow into it. And then using your hands to create the compression, pushing the ribs in, okay? If you can't physically get your thumb around, yeah, this is great too. You can just kind of cup your hands over the ribs. Or even holding the back here. Let's do 2 more of those. I've kind of explained my way through that one a little bit. And last one. Beautiful. And then start to just swing your body. And similar to what we did before with the knee bending and the vibration, just let that flow through your body. Whatever wants to move, let it move. You may feel your trunk rotating, your hips rotating, your knees bending, your ankles rolling, all of those things. Let that happen, or notice where it is not happening. Okay, we talked about ankle accommodation in the last several classes. So are your ankles accommodating with the rotation here? Good. And then lower that swing down. Take your hands. I know my head's been getting cut off. Take your hands. So if your collarbone here, actually, let's take your fingers, trace your collarbone. This is your collarbone. It goes from the middle of your chest out to the very tip of your shoulder out here. So use your fingers to help you feel that bone, increasing our proprioception and understanding of our own anatomy, right? So the more we touch our body, the more we understand it. Skin on skin is best. So if you are able to move your shirt out of the way, go ahead and do that. Okay, let's do the other side. We're building this relationship, this mapping in our brain of where our clavicle is, our collarbone. I do want to go in the direction of head and neck work today based off of special requests and tie that into some balance training at the end. We're going to come back to the center here, right where your collarbone attaches to your sternum. This is called your manubrium. There is this little joint here that we're going to do circles. Let me rephrase that. We're going to go circles in the same direction. And it's kind of weird, right? Circles in the same direction. And then circles in the other direction. So those of you coming live to me, with me today have been coming for a while. So you have trusted the weirdness that we sometimes do, right? These nervous system hacks. If you're on the recording and you're watching this for the first time, just stay with me. It'll get a little weird today, but we're gonna see what happens, okay? Be open-minded. Beautiful. Now, coming off of your collarbone is this big muscle called the sternocleidomastoid. And if I clench my, where is it? If I clench my jaw or turn my head aggressively, you can see it. It goes from that area that we just massaged up to behind the ear. Okay. It's the big like neck muscle that you see on like really muscular necked people. We're going to take our fingers and just run up and down that muscle. You don't have to press hard. We're just, when I lose my words, that means it's really working for me. We're getting into the nervous system that runs right along that muscle. And that's what it all is for those of you again on the recording that maybe haven't heard this before. These are all just ways to tap into your nervous system to decrease tone and rigidity, and then also ramp up your sensory systems so that you have better control of your body. Wow, that was a good elevator speech, right? Down regulate the tone and rigidity, up regulate your sensory system so that you have better control. That's the tagline of the class, right? All right, we're gonna stay right behind the ears and do little circles. And then take your thumbs right at the corner of your jaw. My voice is going to change on this one because it gets into the tongue, but you'll take your thumbs right underneath the base of your jaw, hook your thumbs underneath and go all the way to the tip of your chin and then slide back. Now, this may be gnarly for you, so continue breathing through it. When I first started doing this one, my one side was like, I could barely get my thumb underneath and it was really tender. Now this one, it's like, my body's like, oh, no big deal. Beautiful. Nice. Last one. Good. All right, we're going to take it all the way to the earlobes. This is perfect William joining class because he's got big ears. He's my dad. I can say that. I got my ears from my dad. All right, so we're going to pull the earlobes down. If you have earrings, just kind of work and navigate around those earrings. I like to pinch the skin on my ear with the flat part of my hand and my thumb so I can get a little bit more like surface area. And then if you have a tender spot, which sometimes is like, whoa, why is my earlobe tender? You can use your thumb to sort of massage that spot a little bit more. So I can like stay in one spot and kind of massage with my thumb. Does that make sense? So you want to traction out to the side with your ears and then keep going all the way up to kind of your elf part of your ear. And you're going to try to make your ears look like an elf, tractioning upwards. Okay, it's going to get weirder. Stay with me. We're going to take your pinky or your index finger, either one, and go right into the pocket of your ear and pull there. So remember, your vestibular system lives inside your ear, like deep inside your ear. So by stimulating the structures close to that vestibular system, we're saying like, hey, vestibular system, get ready to go. Like we're going to start working you. Ooh, and then you're going to go on the inside and pull out from the inside of your ear. And I use a thumb, like a thumb pinch there. Yeah. Good. And if there's anything else that you want to stimulate in the ear, sometimes holding this front, this is called the tragus, this front one, pulling it forward, almost making your ear hole bigger. And if your body is having an adverse reaction to this, just remember this one might not be for you. So you can hang tight while we finish up this little ear series. Good. Then we're going to come back to, well, first of all, see how that feels, because that made a big difference in I feel like my head's like this now. All right, so we're going to go into a little scalp massage, taking your fingers, and you're going to aggressively massage that shampoo into your scalp. And if your hair still looks good after this one, you did not do it good enough. Okay. Now, if you have scars on your scalp for whatever reason, you've had surgery, you've hit your head and had staples, make sure that you're not going like fingers in those scars, but it is important to create a little bit of perturbation around those scars so that that scar tissue doesn't create this sort of like tensing pattern, right? You have scar tissue there that's healed those incision points. So we want to create a little bit more space in your skull so that it doesn't tug on your ears, so it doesn't close off your vestibular system, right? The scars are creating a protection pattern for your tissues, and they're basically going this way. And then everything's just a little bit off kilter because you're kind of like pulled here. So we want to create as much space as we can. Does that make sense? Why scars on the top of your head may change your balance? Okay. But we don't know for sure. I don't know if that's the reason. We're just going to play and experiment. And if it, if it helps, then it helps, right? Okay. We're also going to come to the temples. Last one, now that your hands are all maybe greasy, we're just going to come to the temples and do a little temple massage. And if you're feeling good, run across the top of your eyebrows if you're feeling okay with that in your hands. Sorry, I usually try to do all the face stuff before we go into the hair, but I forgot this one. Maybe. I'm still getting like acne and breakouts at 33, so I have concerns about that. But if that's not an issue for you, then maybe you don't care. Good. Nice job. All right, you can give yourself just a general sort of rub through. Let's go ahead and do some more of that rubbing all the way down through your arms. Again, we're going to bring that proprioception into your hands. Switch to the other side. You can just do this with your hands, and it's skin on skin is best. You can also use a hairbrush if you feel like your body likes that sensory input of the hairbrush. And then let's rub the hands together. We'll do a little bit of hand stretching as well. I like to take off rings for this one. All right, so go ahead and interlace the fingers together, and you're just going to do this sort of squeezing and pumping. Good. Make a peace sign with your fingers. Interlace the fingers there and rub the webbing of those fingers together. Good. And then Bill, let's see your best Star Trek. Other middle webbing. I'm going to be, I don't know, I'm picking on my dad today. I had a dream about you the other night, Dad. You're on the forefront of my brain. Okay, we're going to go pinkies. Good. And if you have one of those sections that needs a little bit more love, go for it. And then lastly, we'll do the webbing of your thumbs. So if something like grip is challenging you, or like one of you said, you feel like you're just dropping things lately, getting some sensory input in your hands and mobilizing those tissues might help with that. All right, so we're going to take the palm of your hand and do a little Finar stretch. So if you have a really tight palm here or a really tight thenar, you might find that your hand or your thumb is doing something like this. That makes it really hard to grab things, right? Because your thumb is really tight. It's hard to grab things. So making sure that we're keeping that space in that thumb so we can actually have an opposable thumb here. Yeah. Yeah, Alana, you look good. Just make sure that you maintain that. Mm-hmm. And then other side. Whenever I get massages from people, it's like unexpectedly when they do my forearms and hands, I'm like, oh my gosh, can you stay there? Because I think this is the hardest part to massage on yourself. So I'm like, I want more of that, please. Good. And then let's come onto your belly. Whoa, and just do a belly rub. Skin on skin is best. And you can pull the tissues from one side to the other. Pull the tissues from one side to the other. Pull the tissues up. Push the tissues down. I know this is weird. Stay with me. Stay with me. And then maybe in a circle. Your digestion is going to be good. Switch to the other direction. Nice job. All right. Take a moment to just stand in your spot. We did almost no movement. That was all self-massage. Take a moment to feel your posture over your feet. Do you have a bias to one side or the other? Do you have a bias towards the forefoot or the heel? Or maybe a quadrant? And I've said this in the past, but just as a reminder, in a perfect world, we want our weight to be just a little bit more biased in the toes, because it's a lot easier to catch your balance if you're on your toes than if you are on your heels, and then you have to do this whole shuffle backwards. So if you felt a change from the beginning of that session, a beginning check-in to now a more bias in the toes, that was a positive experience for you. Okay, which one of those made the greatest difference? I don't know. It would take a while for us to check that, but positive experience. Bring it up to your ankles. Do a little ankle roll. Does that feel better? Are you able to move and accommodate in your ankles at all? We didn't do much feet. We're going to get there. What about your knees, the buoyancy in your knees? Your ability to let go and just feel the shaking of the body. Let your organs jiggle up and down. Yeah. Good. And then a little self-touch on your hips and your pelvis. Do you feel more or less space in your low back? If you had a weight shift forward, likely you have a little bit more of a good pelvis position supporting your spine. Bring your hands to your ribs. Inhale and exhale. Do you feel more, less, equal expansion of your ribs? And as I said earlier, you can figure out if you want to do the ribs pushing out or the hands pulling the ribs. Good. And then swinging those arms. Again, feeling the rotation in your thorax, in your hips. Maybe there's a little movement in the knees, the ankles, some freedom there to flow, okay? Take note where on your body you're still feeling that rotation get stuck, okay? So if you're not feeling it all the way in your ankles or able to let it go into your ankles, maybe we need to work on that a little bit, okay? Beautiful. Take that into a walk around the room, or if you're seated in the chair, just march in place and see what that feels like in your body, your foot articulation, your arm swing, your ankle movement, your rotation in the body, so on and so forth. Okay. How are we doing so far? Any positive changes? No changes, negative changes? All positive. Two thumbs up, positive changes. Awesome. And I love that sequence because it doesn't feel like a lot of work, but made a big impact, right? All right, you're going to need your foot release ball next. I'm going to take the camera down to my feet. I was going to say something about that. Oh yeah, while you're getting your ball, we're just going to come down here. One of my colleagues, actually, I will say this, I'm going to make a plug. One of my colleagues, she has something called the Neuro Studio, and it's a program for anyone with neurological conditions, Parkinson's, MS, and stroke mostly. So brain stuff. They have a great newsletter. So if you are interested in kind of getting involved with yet another program, the Neuro Studio. All right, let me get you started on this. So we're just going to take the ball and mash our foot on the ball. No rhyme or reason, except for the fact that we want to just aim to spread the tissues over the ball. Okay, we're trying to get that foot to spread. I wore my toe spacers earlier today, so I excused myself from wearing them again in class today. So anyways, my colleague Megan, who runs the Neuro Studio, she came up with the term DMA, which is a daily movement activator. Something that you do, simple things that you do in the morning that support movement for you in the rest of the day, or support how you feel in your body for the rest of the day. So any of those things that we just did, including what we're doing here, a daily movement activator helps activate your body and prepare your body for movement or for the day. So we'll call those DMAs. All righty. Once you feel like you've gotten a good scope in that foot, we are going to take the ball right on underneath the ball of the foot, which allows your toes to flatly lay over the ball. If you can see the knuckles on the top of your foot, even better. Okay. I don't want you to squeeze the ball today. I want you to just let the toes fall over. Okay. If you are able to get into a squat like this, I think maybe a few of you might be able to do this and want to put some pressure on the top of your feet. That sometimes feels nice too. I'll do this for my clients in the studio where they stand on the ball and then I just kind of massage the top of the foot there. And we just breathe into that foot, breathing mobility and life. Good. All right, we're going to take our foot off of the ball. Let the ball go off to the side for a second. Holding on to something if you need to, we're going to stretch the top of the toes. So toenails down, rolling from pinky side to big toe side, pinky side to big toe side. Good. And if you're feeling really good, you can bring it a little bit closer and put a little bit more weight through it. On me, my pinky toe is always a little bit stiffer. Good. All right, I got a little magic trick that we're gonna try and see if anything changes here. We're gonna take your right foot forward of your left foot, and you can do this in the chair also. Square up your hips towards your feet, and then hinge forward and just see how your hamstring feels here, a little hamstring stretch. Try to keep the top of your foot towards your shin. Just notice and see what your hamstring feels like, okay? Here's the magic trick. Parallel feet. We're gonna take one foot forward and roll to the edge of your foot. So there's the accommodation that we were talking about. I want you to try to feel a stretch through the back part of your heel. Maybe it'll come up into your calf. It's gonna feel maybe a little nervy. And whenever we do nerve stretches, we don't wanna hold it there for too long. So you're just gonna roll to the edge, feel it's almost like a zing, and then back. Like, oh, is it a zing? I don't know. It doesn't feel like a muscle stretch. How do I explain that better? Feels like you're stretching the nerve. Good. And then we're going to internally rotate the foot and do the same thing. Side and then flatten. Hold on to a wall or do this seated if you need balance help. Good. Now shake it out and recheck your hamstring, same side. Recheck your hamstring. Let's see if it worked. Better, worse, same, different. Better, better, same, or different? Same, better, same. Okay, it worked for like 50% of you. Nice. Now, there's something to consider too. Of course, I want to be unbiased and not like, oh, I want it to work so bad. When I hinged the first time, I felt like this like binding of tightness. And then now when I do it, I feel like, oh, my muscle actually feels tight as opposed to just like global tightness. Okay, let's do the same process on the other side. We're going to start with the ball though first. Remember, we'll start from the top. So just letting your foot go over the top of it. If you're in the market for a foot release ball, these are called yoga tune-up balls. And I like their brand. They're pliable, so it's not so harsh on the nervous system, but they hold their shape pretty good. What am I, infomercial today? You didn't know you were. I only promote things I believe in. Yeah. Woo, that feels good there. Yep. And again, the goal of this one is to get the foot to be wide. Great. Cool. All right, let's do the stretch with the toes. So those are going to go over the ball of the foot. Let the toes drape over, and you want to try to see the knuckles on the top of the foot here. So not the toe knuckles, the foot knuckles. Metatarsal heads. Foot knuckles. And if you see one knuckle maybe more prominent than the other, you can kind of localize that ball on that spot. Well, what I'm trying to get here is the toes to drop flat in comparison to the metatarsal heads. So like kind of what we were talking about with the foot earlier when I was saying like, oh, does your foot feel like this, where the toe knuckles are higher than the knuckles versus something like that with the foot. I know that's nuanced, but when it comes to balance, foot mobility is super important. Even the little things like your toes there. Okay, if you want to check your hamstring flexibility on this side real quick, go for it. So foot in front, dorsiflex, hinge over, see what that feels like. There's your data point. We need data points to know if these things work for us. All right, and then foot and forward. We're gonna do the toes facing forward first. If you're like, no, I don't feel that nerve stretch, turn the foot in, maybe you'll feel it a little bit differently there. And you're gonna do like 6 to 10 wiggles. We don't need much. Good. Does your foot even go this way? That's a good question too. Very nice. And then shake it out. Check your hamstring again. Same, better, different, worse. Give me the thumbs up. Same, better, different, worse. And I know that was a quick thing. Same. Some of you saying same, some of you saying same, some of you better. Not sure. Okay, so that one wasn't sure. Okay. See, then we know that we don't need to try that one again because that one wasn't for you. All right, next one, we're gonna sit down probably on a chair. Let's find a box. If you have really good mobility, you could probably do this from the floor as well. So sitting on some sort of ottoman works. Ottoman or chair. Now, can we bring the foot up like this? How's that for us? We have hip mobility there. Give me a thumbs up if you have it. Kinda? Yeah? Okay, everyone's got it. All right. So we're going to take your hand on the top of the foot and one hand on your ankle. We're going to do some foot mobility here. So I don't want the movement happening from your knee joint. I want you happening from your actual foot and ankle. We're going to roll that foot around. The movement right now is taking place at the ankle joint. And then reverse the direction. Good. Oh, we didn't do this toe stretch on the other side. We're going to fold the toes over the top. See how I kind of folded over? Do I need a closer view or we got this? Close. Okay, this is okay. Okay, fold over the toe. And then I want you to try to pull the top of your foot towards your shin while holding your toes curled. And then release. And maybe going to the opposite of that. So we'll point the foot, curl the toes, and then pull the top of the foot up towards your shin. And you can just alternate between those two. One more time. Good thing we already did our face, right? Now we touching our feet and then touch our face. That wouldn't go so well. All right. This one here, you're going to take your hand and pinch the ball of the foot, so the metatarsals, and you're going to pinch underneath the ankle, so right below the ankle. So last one we did ankle movement. This one's going to be within the actual foot. We're going to squeeze it like a towel. I think I want the camera closer for this one. Just going to squeeze it like a towel. Wish I could show this a little bit better. So the movement is happening sort of in your midfoot here. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do it with my whole hand. You might kind of like twist the skin a little bit, and that's okay. As long as it doesn't like really hurt. Good. One more time. Excellent. Now place your feet down, and if you can, stand up and just notice how one foot feels in comparison to the other. You can look at color, and I know we've done a little bit on one foot and then a little bit on the other, but after that squeezing, talk to me about how one foot feels in comparison to the other. From personal experience, maybe you feel this in yourself. I feel like this foot is flatter. The one I just did. I have more of a base on the floor, whereas this one kind of feels like I'm gripping I'm kind of like hovering off the ground. Cool. Let's do the other side. Dad, if we keep doing foot class, I got to get another pedicure. We can do that. Okay. Hand on the top of your shin. Roll the ankle. Oh boy, we got to get to some of that aerobic stuff that Carrie wanted. We'll do a little brain speed at the end. And then switch. This hip's a little tighter too. Multitask. And then taking your hand over the top, folding those toes up over. Trying to keep that fold and dragging the top of the foot towards your shin. We'll let go, spread the toes, and then point them back again. Nice. That is brain work just to coordinate that. Last one. Good. If you like that one, you can do it a little bit more. We're going to move on to the towel squeeze. So again, the movement's going to happen about here. You hold the top of the foot and kind of the base like underneath your heel. And we're trying to mobilize that joint there. So if you feel your ankle moving, we haven't kind of localized that in the way we wanted to. So work on that part. Ooh. And I like the skin rubbing too. So if you don't have a lot of movement in the bones there, that's okay. You can even just rub the skin in the direction that you want them to move. And then over time, you know, when you're doing this one more and more, you'll get more mobility there. I have less mobility in this foot. Now I'm feeling this acutely right now. Okay, and then feet down. Go ahead and do a little assessment. How does one foot feel in comparison to the other? Awesome. All right. We're going to bring it up a little bit. We're going to do some Simon Says brain speed work involving balance if you would like it to be balanced. If you're just trying to improve kind of like brain communication to the body, then we don't have to make it about balance. I would like you to do the movement. So I'm going to, for those of you that are new to this, I'm going to say either right, left, or center, and you'll have movements corresponding to each. If I say right, you're going to tap your foot out to the right. If I say left, you'll tap the foot out to the left. And if I say center, I want a calf raise with the arms up overhead. Okay. If you would like to make this a little bit more dynamic, you would hop over to the right, hop over to the left, and then hop in the center. Okay. So depending on how aerobic or impactful meaning like plyometric on your joints, you can choose which version you'd like. Are we ready? All right, here we go. Center, right, right, center, left, right, left, right, center, left, center, right, right, center, right, left, center, left, left, right, center, center, left, right. Good. Nice job. Walk around the room. Flush the brain, flush the body. Yeah, good. Nervous system reset. I love it. So another way that you can do besides walking around, if you're feeling a little bit like, woof, that was a little overwhelming, you can do any of the DMAs that we did before, the daily movement activators, the resets. Great. All right, we're going to do a little vestibular work here. So pick a point, pick something on your wall or something on your bookshelf that's about eye level. And we're going to lock our gaze onto that object, but turn our head. If it's helpful for feedback and you want to put your hand on just your chin for understanding the movement of your head, I highly advise that. So go ahead and go eyes forward, gaze forward on that object, moving your head right and left. And you're going to go for 10 cycles. Go for it as far as you can to one side and then as far as you can to the other side. So don't worry about going fast on this one, just moving right and left. Great. And after you've done about 10 cycles, I want you to do a little air squat, just sitting down and standing back up so I know that you've finished. It's like your signal to me that you've done 10 cycles and that you've finished. Good. All right, we're going to do the brain speed again. Good. We're going to do the brain speed again. Now, if you felt like I was speaking too fast for you and you weren't able to get those step outs, you have two other options that you can do. You can do an arm stepping out to the side, or you can do a head turn. So head turn right, head turn left, and then arms up for center. Okay. A couple more options. Lots of options. You pick what's best for your body. What I want is that brain, that speed of hearing and then doing. Let's do it. Left, right, center, center, left, right, right, center, right, left, center, left, left, center, right. I'm going fast today. Right, center, left, right, left, right, center, right, left, left, center. Nice. Walk around the room, do a reset, march in place. Nicely done. We're going to do one more set of the vestibular ocular reflex drill. The head turns with the eyes in place. All right. I want you to do these on the diagonal this time. So you're going to go up on the diagonal and then down on the diagonal. So you're going in this direction. You'll do about 6 passes in one direction and 6 passes in the other. And when you're done with those 6 cycles on each, do a couple air squats or sit to stands and to show me that you're done. Just something that's eye level, right? Once you've done about 6 on each side, do a couple sit to stands or air squats just to signal to me that you're done on the video. Good. All righty. Are we ready? Last round of the brain speed, right, left, center. Pick which movements you're going to do. If you have something else in mind that you want to attach to the right, left, center commands, go for it. I'm not married to the movements I gave you. I just want you to pick something and then have an association. Okay, here we go. Center, right, right, center, left, right, left, right, center, left, center, right, right, center, right, left, up. Oh, sorry, center, left, left, right, center, center, left, right, center, right, right, center, left, right, left, right, center, left, center, right, right, center, left, right, center, left, left, right, center, center, left, right. Beautiful. Nice job. Walk around the room. I did double commands that time. I wanted that fatigue factor. Yeah. Do a reset, walk around the room, massage your scalp, feel your collarbones. Those are all good hot spots. Your neck, the middle part of your neck right here. You can just make little circles. That's a good spot. Notice how you feel. If you're a little bit amped right now, take a breath or two, just kind of drop back into your body. And we'll do one final brain scan. We're not going to do a brain scan. We're going to do one final body scan. Standing, if that was right for you, or seated, if that makes sense for you as well. But hopefully you can pick a posture. You can do the posture again that you did at the beginning of class. We'll start with the feet. I'll do an abbreviated one, so it won't be as much as before. Standing nice and tall at your center place. Notice the weight distribution in your feet, right, left, forward, back, maybe a quadrant. Maybe you're feeling yourself sway through all of those angles, indicating energy flow, which is really good in Parkinson's because we have a tendency to be more stagnant, right? Kind of stuck. Sway is good. Notice your ankle mobility. Can you roll from the inside to the outside? The buoyancy in your knees. The movement in your hips. Put your hands on your hips and get a little sassy. Popping the knees. There you go. How's that feel? Hands on your ribs for expansion. Same, better, different, or worse. We're not sure. It's going to be one of those 5 responses. Is it the same, better, different, or worse? We're not sure. Good. Then go for that swing with the arm. You can get a little bouncy in it. Again, feeling that accommodation in your feet and ankles. Last time we did this, we had not done our footwork yet, so maybe we're feeling a little bit more. Notice for yourself where you still feel the stagnation or where you still feel stuck, and we'll spend maybe for yourself, or you can let me know for next week where we need to spend a little bit more time on. Let's go 3 more swings, 2 more swings, and last one. Beautiful. Take the arms up overhead. Push your heel of your hand up towards the ceiling. Let your shoulders come up to your ears and let your ribs expand backwards. And then shake it out. We'll do that one more time. We're going to shrug the arms up towards the shoulders. And then release out. Excellent job. Nice work. I'm going to turn off the recording. And if you have anything that you want to share with the group, feel free to share.